Hello and welcome to round number 2 of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship in Live for Speed. This time out in the Shanker T16 mod at Aston Cadet, a Rallycross edition of Aston Cadet with a few extra chicanes and hairpins to boot. I'm Peter Butcher. You're joining us on simbroadcasts.tv on this very sunny, if you're in the UK, Sunday the 20th of March, an hour earlier because of our real-life motorsport happening in about an hour and a half. So yes, let's have a look at the calendar first and foremost to see where we are going in this great season. We are today at Aston Cadet, then we're heading to Fern Bay in a couple of weeks' time, and then Blackwood, Fern Bay again, and then West Hill at the end of the season. All right, let's have a look at the car. The car we used last time and for the remainder of this season is the Shanker T16, the mod created by Tim Dicknodder, the event promoter himself. It is a 2-litre inline-4 all-wheel drive car with 440 brake horsepower and weighs just over a tonne. It was absolutely insane to see this thing driving around Blackwood Rallycross 2 weeks ago, and today Aston Cadet, it's going to be no different. This thing is rapid off the line and it gets the power down just where it needs to. We've got a lot of grass and a lot of tarmac on this track, and a lot of gravel as well for the drivers to contend with. Let's have a look at where the Joker is on this track. It appears just before the final corner, so not in the middle of the lap like it was last time out. But we have the same heat racing format. We have the first round of heats, which are 3 laps long at 2:30. Then we're going to have heat 2 races at 2:55. These times are an hour out. And then we'll have our third round of heats about half an hour after that, and then the finals, which will be 4 laps long, each with a mandatory Joker lap. The Joker is a bit weird. It goes through a little cut through in the fence, and then there's a hairpin that the drivers have to navigate at the final corner before the long run down to start-finish. And we have chicanes out of the first corner, out of turn 2 as well, turn 2 and 3, and then obviously the downhill corkscrew with a final chicane at the final corner and before the finish line. So there's chicanes everywhere, so the lap will be slightly longer than we're used to. And yeah, with that, we are almost ready for our first set of heats. The driver briefing is underway, and yeah, it's going to be another fast and eclectic mix of racing. We have currently got 2 heats lined up, an A heat and a B heat for the first round of racing action today. Race 1 should consist of Michael Malik, Jimmy Vertinen, Daniel Balla and Tim Dicknodder. Let's take a very, very brief look at how the Drivers' Championship standings are as we headed into this round. Tim Dicknodder leading the way with 20 points ahead of Daniel Balla, Martin Kapal, Gabor Gier, Matthias Malinowski, Michael Malik, Wolfgangus Goodis, Jaroslav Donnelly, Jared Mead, Hassan Talha Unsal, and Rafael Costa, the 11 drivers who registered points from round number 1. We have got 7 drivers today. In the second race, we'll have Rafael Costa, Jaroslav Donnelly, and Matthias Malinowski. And I believe we are on the track for the first race. So let's head over to the track and get the racing action underway. And they are go straight away, no hanging around. We have Tim Dicknodder, Jimmy Vertinen, Michael Malik, and Daniel Balla heading off down to turn number 1, 4 wide almost as we head onto the first tricky part of this track. We've got some contact in the background between Michael Malik and Daniel Balla, who's been sent into the wall. So Dan Balla struggling already. And it is Jimmy Vertinen who leads the way. Oh, he's clipped the wall as well. He's clipped the apex of the chicane, and that's going to allow Tim Dicknodder a run as he heads onto the gravel. And then we hang a left instead of going on the tarmac. We're using the grass. Jaroslav going quite wide. Jimmy going quite wide, and that allows Tim that line through this downhill chicane. No options to use the grass through the chicane, but on the exit, the drivers can use it. Oh, and that's Vertinen clipping the wall, trying to make the Joker work potentially. Tim and Michael have both gone through the Joker lap and are on to the home straight, and that's gone horrendously badly for Jimmy Vertinen. For Jimmy Vertinen, it was Michael Malik who spun, I believe, and it's now across Yeah, sorry, it was Jimmy who spun. And the two ahead of him have completed their Joker lap, which is not ideal at all. Daniel Balla, he's also completed the Joker lap, but a long way back, and possibly not going to be able to gain much from this. But Jimmy has managed to get the lead back ahead of Michael Malik and Tim Ducknodder, and he needs to make this count because he has to do his Joker still, and he needs some time to do it. Will Michael Malik and Tim Ducknodder trip over each other? The answer is probably. They are nose to tail heading through the chicane. I wonder if Jimmy will just take one more lap in clean air just to get some space. Yes, he will. And it is, in fact, chaos as Michael Malik clipped. Oh, but also Jimmy's gone as well. So Jimmy, he just had to take it easy and probably would have been guaranteed a clean Joker, but he's got it wrong again. And Tim has been very lucky here. Michael Malik comes through in P2, and we're on to the final lap already. Jimmy Vertinen, that's gone from bad to worse. Daniel Balla is nowhere. He's not even in our picture right now. As we head into turn one on the final lap, it is Tim Ducknodder leading the way, as he did at the end of last week, 2 weeks ago, in round one, winning emphatically in the A final. And as he heads through and over the grass on this final attempt, he has quite a gap then between Michael Malik and himself. Jimmy Vertinen still to serve his Joker in P3, so it could be close with him and Daniel. We'll have to see how that works out. Daniel did make a bit of a hash of the opening lap, so we will see. Tim has clipped the wall. Michael might have a run here. Oh, and again, Tim has clipped the apex of that chicane. That's made his entry into the final corner way too deep. Too early. And that allows Michael Malik the opportunity to convert his fastest lap into a potential win in Heat 1 for him. And it will be Michael Malik coming across the line in P1. Jimmy Vertinen has to settle for P3, and Daniel Balla will cross the line in P4. What a start to our race here. It could have been anyone's game, and it was Michael Malik who takes the win. A great result for him. Let's get those results on screen and get full official confirmation of those results then. So there we are, confirming. Oh, that appears to be incorrect. But Michael Malik was indeed the winner, ahead of Tim Ducknodder, Jimmy Vertinen, Daniel Balla, and Jaroslav Donlik there, who started the race but was not supposed to be in this heat. So he was actually meant to be in the B heat. So just an incorrect join there. But it is Michael Malik who takes the early lead. But Daniel Balla in the end with the fastest lap. Obviously, all that clean air at the back helped him out a lot in heat number one. Unfortunately, that's not going to do well for his points, so we'll have to see if he can make up those places in the second and third heats of the day. All right, the second grid should be coming up shortly. That will consist of Rafael Costa, Jaroslav Donlik, and Matthias Malinovsky, who all three of those drivers gave us something to talk about last week. The main story was Jaroslav Donlik, who kept running into the back of various people. Goodis, if I'm not mistaken, he was very friendly with the back of Goodis's car for most of the first round. The second race of Heat 2 is coming up in just a moment, I'm told. So these drivers who we just saw in Heat 1 will have another 2 heats to go, and then they will be allocated into either an A or a B final today. Not enough drivers to make up a full complement of three finals. But here we go for the start of Heat Race 1. Heat 1, race number 2. And there we are, Malinovsky in the catbird seat. Rafael Costa and Jaroslav Donlik pull away. Jaroslav Donlik still donning the colours of Ukraine, and it is Malinovsky who is forcing Costa slightly wide, and that's going to allow Yada the outside for turn 1. But he can't do anything. Malinovsky defending very hard and getting it slightly too sideways, you'd have to say. But that has backed up Jaroslav Donlik into the path of Costa as they go over that slight jump as they head through the first corner. Jaroslav had a good run, but he has now spun after collecting the back of Malinovsky's car. So Jaroslav in a similar position to Daniel Balla And further contact between Costa and Malinowski. This is getting very frantic at the front. Costa decides to go for his Joker lap. Let's watch him do this. And you can see the sort of gap that the car ahead can gain. Jaroslav Dominik also serving his Joker. So Malinowski, he has free reign. He can do it whenever he wants. And that was a bit of a frantic first lap for him. And Costa needs to now close that gap down and stop Malinowski from gaining any advantage when he does his Joker lap. Similarly, Jaroslav has a lot of work to do now after that spin on lap 1. So let's keep an eye on Malinowski. Can he do a clean lap here? He has the fastest lap, obviously. But let's see, can he repeat that on the second attempt? I do believe this car has had some updates for this round. A few aesthetic tweaks in the LFS mod editor. Quite a conservative entry to the downhill corkscrew, but Malinowski lining up this first chicane well, and now he decides to do his Joker. He hasn't waited till the end. He's going to serve it now. And Costa has made good use of this second lap and has managed to leapfrog Malinowski and will take the lead, but he's clipped the apex and Costa's going to spin. That's going to allow Malinowski a run, is it? Oh, but there's contact. Malinowski runs into the back of Costa and pushes him along a bit. So we have a race at the front. Yada, unfortunately, 10 seconds back now, is out of this unless these two really ruin this final lap. Malinowski very wide, maybe hoping for the cutback. Let's watch them go through the chicane. Not really much of an event, but you have to get the car turned and over this apex. Malinowski doing a better job, but doesn't get as good traction over that gravel as Costa did. Costa with a really nice run through the first sector. Can he get a good exit onto the second sector? Malinowski botching the entry slightly, and Costa just being allowed to run away then at the head of this race. He's made an error, though, at the end of the previous lap. Will he do the same? Malinowski spun. You can just see him pirouetting in the background. So Costa just needs to keep his head straight and nurse his Shanker T16 to the finish line, and he looks like he's doing just that. So a bit of a dramatic heat one. The driver's just getting used to racing this track with other cars, but most of the drivers coming into troubles of their own, spinning. Yada might have a run at Malinowski here at the line, but no, Malinowski finishes P2. Yada has to settle for P3. Let's get confirmation of those results on screen once again. There we are. Rafael Costa registering a win in his first heat. Malinowski in P2 and Jaroslav Dominik P3. It was Costa who took the fastest lap, and you could see where that was coming from. He was super, super quick and served his Joker immediately, but still managed to get out ahead of Malinowski after his on the following lap. There's going to be a quick break between heats 1 and heat 2 while the points are calculated and the heat pairings are set up for heat number 2, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to coverage of Master Race Cars' second season of their Rallycross Championship, round number 2 at Aston Cadet Rallycross with the Shanker T16 mod. We have finished our Heat 1 races, and the races for Heat 2 are being gridded up as we speak. And in our first race in the heats, it will be Rafael Costa, Daniel Balla, Matthias Malinowski, and Jaroslav Donlik. Race number 2 will be Michael Malek, Tim Dicknodder, and Jimmy Vertinen. The drivers are ready, so we're going to head to the track for this one. So here come the lights. And we will be racing as we follow Rafael Costa, who was officially our leader, as they make their way down to turn number 1. Daniel Balla then will be the first car through. That was Malinowski running extremely wide. Rafael Costa off onto the grass. Daniel with a better start, definitely, to this race than the previous one, with Jaroslav Donlik tucking in behind, while Malinowski and Costa battle with each other. So Costa, he's got a lot of work to do now in this heat. He was fastest in his heat just before, but he has got a lot of work to do. Daniel Balla tentative on the exit. Jaroslav Donlik clattering the tyres, and that drops him back into the path of Malinowski, who tries to go around the outside. It doesn't work for him. Who will choose to do the Joker. Daniel's clipped the Armco. It's not going to affect him too much. Yarda, Malinowski, and Costa have gone through, and Daniel, yet again, has ruined his line. Yarda's ruined his Joker and appears unable to get that car into reverse gear. So some issues there for Jaroslav once again. But look at this. Costa and Malinowski are right on the back of Daniel, and they've served their Joker. So drama once again, and difficulties for Daniel. Let's ride on board again with Malinowski and see how he navigates this lap. He has to catch up to Rafael. He has no choice on that. They don't have to worry about Daniel Balla so much. He has pretty much sealed his fate in this race, unless these two befall some sort of issue. Costa, so much better through the first sector. Malinowski taking a tighter line in. That will push him wide on the exit. He's managed to keep it tight throughout, but again, Costa just drops him on the exit. Let's watch him down through the chicane. Has to take 2 bites at that apex, clips the ball slightly. Not a good entry for this next part. And again, just giving time to Rafael Costa, who now disappears from our view. Dan did not choose to do his Joker. And Malinowski is dropping back further still. And as we switch to Jaroslav Donlik, who's just coming through the final corner, it looks like his race is all but over. Dan Balla now on the final lap, but he will have Rafael Costa looming large in his mirrors before he's even decided to do his Joker lap. So Rafael Costa looking like he is on his way to securing another great result here. But it did not go all of his way in the last time out at round 1 in Blackwood Rallycross. He'll want to certainly regain some of his results, and he's not gone. It's not gone well there for Costa. He is lagging slightly, we believe, on the server, but no, it looks like a technical or a hardware failure or something. That looked very strange, and unfortunately, that's going to drop him all the way to the back. Is it? Not quite. Jaroslav is still a fair way behind, but it will be Daniel Balla then, who has been a bit lucky there with a bit of a technical issue for Rafael Costa. Malinowski will take P2 in a surprising twist of events. Will Costa manage to get his car across the line in P3? Yes, he does. And here comes Jaroslav. So an unfortunate turn of events that for Rafael. It was looking on for a win, but a strange bit of a glitch there means that he will not be recorded in the top 2, and in fact has to settle for 3rd. Get confirmation of those results then on the screen. It is Daniel Balla who wins. A great result that for him. Malinowski P2, Rafael Costa in P3, and Jaroslav Donlik P4. Fastest lap of the event so far goes to Rafael Costa with a 59.78, and it was a driver error, a driver crash, in fact, for Rafael Costa. Graphics driver issue for Rafael Costa. The grid for race 2 will consist of Michael Malek, Tim Dicknodder, and Jimmy Vertinen. So only 3 cars in the second race of heat number 2. who will join Daniel Balla as a race winner in Heat 2. Well, it's going to be one of those three. And, well, it didn't go well. They had lots and lots of issues in their previous heat. So let's see what happens. The drivers are readying up. This will be a quick restart for race number 2. Here are the cars as they sit on the grid. There's been a false start already, so we will have a restart here. That was Tim Dicknodder getting a little bit too hasty on the restart there. And we are reset and ready to go. Michael Malik, Tim Dicknodder and Jimmy Verton wait for the lights. And that means that Tim Dicknodder will have to serve a second Joker lap in this race. Remember, penalties on the start result in an extra Joker lap for that driver. So Tim has a lot of work to do as Michael Malik emerges in the lead after turn number 1. Hands the inside line almost to Jimmy Verton. And there you go, he does it again. Michael Malik electing to use the tarmac, but doesn't appear to be the best strategy in this rally car. And let's ride on board with Tim Dicknodder as he tries to get through the inside of Jimmy. 2 Joker laps then for Tim. And surely he has to serve one of them on the first lap while the cars ahead of him are battling. That's what I'd do anyway. Let's see. Nice apex for Tim. You can hear the pops and bangs from this car. Fantastic. Michael's gone into the Joker too. That leaves Jimmy Verton left to serve his. So Tim needs to get past Michael on this lap. That was only his first trip through the Joker. And Jimmy needs to focus ahead. He's already got the fastest lap there, as he comes across the line first on the opening lap. And Michael Malik has his mirrors full, again wide of Tim Dicknodder. Michael not having the best line. And again, electing to use the tarmac through the second corner. And Tim, with the tighter line, is able to get a better exit. Michael also clipped the apex. The 50-meter board goes for a wander. And Tim in the wall and into the tyres. Not a good start at all, this, for Tim Dicknodder. And Michael Malik looks like he has got a good bit of pace as we see Jimmy Verton going into the Joker lap. Both cars have hit the wall, spinning in style. Yeah, this is a really odd showing. Tim had to double back to go through the Joker lap. He had already passed the entry to the Joker and he had 1 lap left to serve it. Very interesting choice that from him. In fact, yeah, he had 2 laps left to serve it. He could have done it on the final lap. Jimmy Verton then. This could be a walk in the park for him. Michael Malik has recovered his car with a little bit of left side damage. And it looks like he is not going to be able to catch up to Jimmy at the end of this lap. Tim Dicknodder, oh dear, won't be able to convert his second place from Heat 1 into a good result here in Heat 2. Jimmy Verton, fastest lap, clipping the tyres. It won't matter. He's got a little bit of breathing room to Michael. And as he comes down, he can't risk hitting this Armco on the outside of the corkscrew, which is what everyone's done at least one time. He does clip the apex of the final corner and then the tyres again, which is going to leave a nice gift for Michael Malik, who, smashes straight through the debris. But after all that, it will be Jimmy Verton who emerges victorious. Michael going extremely wide out of the final corner. Now we'll have to wait for Tim, who is just coming through our picture now. He's clattered the wall and spun. So a bit of an awkward end to his second heat. There he is across the line to round out the 3 finishes out of 3 for heat number 2, race 2. And there we are. Jimmy Verton wins 16 seconds ahead of Tim Dicknodder and 2 seconds ahead of Michael Malik. And the fastest lap, which was the fastest lap of the event so far, goes to Michael Malik with a 59.49. Super stuff. Heat 3 races are coming up in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We're about to have the third of 3 heat races here in round 2 of the Master Race Car Rallycross Championship. And in Heat 3, Race 1, it will be Tim Dicknodder, Rafael Costa, Matthias Malinowski, and Jaroslav Donlik. And in Race 2, Michael Malek, Jimmy Vertinen, and Daniel Baller. The grids are being formed as we speak. And we've seen some eventful races. Hard to really call a winner at this stage. So this final heat is going to be all important for our drivers because we have quite a spread of points. It is currently Michael Malek leading the way. He has it is currently who is it currently leading the way? It is I need to clarify the order I have in my view here. Dan Baller. It looks like Tim is leading at the moment, and we have cars on the track ready to go for our next race. Here we go. Here come the lights, and we are away for Heat 3, race number 1. Tim Dicknodder leading the way down to the first corner on the inside, with Malinowski and Rafael Costa in the middle. Jaroslav Donlik trying to snake through in the background. And again, Costa with a good start, but he needs to hold this as Yarda goes into the back of Malinowski. Tim Dicknodder, so far so good, but we know how quick Costa can be. Costa will want to get past Tim as soon as possible. Again, a difference of entries into this corner. Tim Dicknodder tends to go out quite wide, and that does compromise his exit slightly. Yarda through the tyres, Malinowski wide. Malinowski with the advantage in the end. But it is Tim Dicknodder who leads so far. Oh, goodness me. Almost brushes the arm code that everyone's been touching. Costa goes through the Joker. So does Malinowski. And Jaroslav Donlik just ahead of Malinowski after that. So Malinowski will want to get through Yarda as quickly as possible as Yarda hits the arm code again. And just as I say that, Malinowski takes that place back. Tim Dicknodder on to lap number 2 then. And when will he serve his Joker? He has 2 opportunities to do it. He can do it now, or he can do it on the final lap. But with Costa right behind him, he might elect to do it now and save track position. He doesn't want to give up the ability to defend his position from Costa. So what I would do, Tim, is send that car through the Joker on this lap, unless you think you're quicker, which right now doesn't appear as though you are. Oh, a nice entry there into the chicane, and he does go through the Joker. We'll see both of the cars as they stand on the exit of the Joker. It's going to be close. It could be Tim. It could be Tim. It is Tim who takes over the lead. So we will finally have a straight fight for the lead in one of our heat races here. Yarda's gone through the Joker as well. We're going to stay with this lead battle. Tim Dicknodder leads as we head on to the final lap. Will Costa go for a big send? No, he makes his presence known though, and there is contact as we head into the first apex. Costa, too much slide, trying to keep his foot in. He needs to regroup and try and find a way around Tim in the final few corners of this race. You know how quick you are, Costa, but you need to work on that racecraft. That wasn't the best place to go for a lunge. You forced yourself onto the apex, kept your foot in it, and it didn't work out. So one real opportunity now then, down into the final corner for Costa. A tighter line, but that compromises him on the exit. Tim has a better line at this point, able to get the power down a lot earlier. So this is a good performance here so far from Tim. Costa with a better apex, but it isn't going to matter, I don't think. Just one chicane left to go for Tim. Tim electing for a wider line on entry. That's going to compromise his exit, and he's hit the wall. And that hands a late race win to Rafael Costa. Tim had everything in hand, and it just didn't work out in the end. Who's going to come third? It is Malinovsky, and we're going to have to wait a little bit, I think, for Yaroslav Donalik. Here he is. But goodness me, Rafael Costa snatching the win from the jaws of defeat as Tim got the final chicane all wrong, and that's what you get. You just cannot give Rafael an inch. He will just take it with both hands. And here we are then, the final classification of Heat 3, Race 1. Rafael Costa with the win ahead of Tim Ducknodder, with Malinovsky and Yaroslav Donalik coming home in P4. Rafael Costa, not the fastest lap we've seen in the races so far, but very close, only 0.03 of a second slower than Michael Malik's attempt in the previous heat. But yeah, very, very fast heat that. But Yaroslav Donalik unable to really stamp his authority on this event so far. Not fantastic results so far from him. Here we go then into the final the final heat race of our event. And it will be contested between Michael Malik, Jimmy Vertinen, and Daniel Balla as they head off towards turn number 1. Michael Malik leading the way. Immediately, Jimmy Vertinen pushing his nose into the lead. A wide line, allowing Michael that little bit of space on the inside. And then through they go in synchronization. 2 doesn't go into 1, boys. You've got to settle down. That is Jimmy going wide, allowing Michael the inside. Michael now finally realizing that the gravel on the inside of turn 2 is actually the faster route. Surprise, surprise. And he takes over the lead. Meanwhile, in the background, Daniel Balla, who currently, I believe, leads the way in the points, is having a steady start, it has to be said, to the start of this race. Not able to get in amongst the top 2 so far. But Michael Malik avoiding the Armco on this occasion. Vertinen goes through the Joker. Balla goes through the Joker. And this is where the action is going to be then. Michael just needs to keep his head down. Dan lost a little bit of time exiting out of the Joker lap, and we can see finally an onboard through this final chicane. It is tricky. The Armco does stick out. It is quite unsighted. And there you can see Jimmy Vertinen has had a great run down into the first corner. Quite wide though. Definitely missing the apex. That will hand some of the time back to Dan Balla as we head our way through the first chicane and across this apex. The drivers ignoring the tarmac entirely and lining themselves up for a better exit out onto, I guess you can call this the back straight. Not straight though, avoiding or not avoiding the distance markers in the case of Daniel Balla. Again, Jimmy Vertinen quite wide, hitting the tyres, but he still seems to have found some advantage. Michael Malik's run it quite wide, or just about avoiding the Armco, but Jimmy's going to hit the Armco. Vertinen's hit the Armco hard, and he speared himself back into the path of Daniel Balla, and with no grip on the grass, Daniel Balla has spun once again. So this is not going to be a good heat for Dan unless the other two come into some trouble. Jimmy, that was a difficult one. He couldn't really avoid coming back into the path of Dan, and Dan couldn't really slow down either. So you'd have to think Michael Malik stands a pretty good chance of taking away the victory in race number 3 for him in this event as he heads back across the apex of turn 2. Is Jimmy anywhere near his rearview mirror? Not really. So Michael just needs to play this safe and try and nurse this car through the Joker and up to start finish. We've seen it taken away from other drivers, notably Tim Ducknodder in the previous race. But yeah, Michael, you can relax slightly. You have a 5-second buffer to the car behind. Enters the Joker nicely. One of the better Joker entries we've seen. And as you can tell, Jimmy has had a mare again. He's clipped the wall, almost a reverse entry into the final corner. And that will cement Michael Malik's victory if he can make this final corner work. And he hasn't. He's gone into the wall hard, but it's going to be enough. He'll have a bit of concussion after that, no doubt. That was a dramatic end for him. And in the end, only 4.6 seconds his margin of victory over Jimmy. And it is Daniel Balla who comes across the line in P number 3. Not the race Daniel Balla needed. The final race of his heat then. Not fantastic. But there we are. that is our final heat race of the second round of the Master Race Car Championship, the Rallycross Championship. Michael Malik wins in 3 minutes 6 seconds and takes the fastest lap. Another very, very nice lap time there for Daniel Balla. Okay, the grids will be set now for the finals, and we will have two finals. We will have a B and an A final. The winner of the B final will be moved into the A final, and it looks as though the first heat is going to be contested. The first final is going to be contested between, well, certainly car 23 is going to be there, I believe. That will be Jaroslav Donelik in our B final. We'll be back in a moment's time once we've worked out who is going to be competing in each of these, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. With so few cars, it was quite quick to get the finals sorted out. We will have two finals, a B and an A final. There will be just two cars in the B final. The winner will be promoted to join the rest of the 5 cars in the A final. And it will be Matthias Malinowski and Jaroslav Donelik who will duke it out over this 4-lap B final. The grid is being set with just these two cars. And let's go. We have low wind in effect for this race as well, 21 kilometers an hour. So that's going to be an extra added bonus for these two to give us some entertainment. Jaroslav Donelik not with a good start there. Malinowski with a good run, and have a look to see which of these two drivers will be joining the rest of our field in the A final. Give us a good show, boys. Jaroslav Donelik trying to get the early advantage, trying to put his nose where it doesn't belong there on the entry to the first chicane. Gets a better apex, certainly, but not as good an exit. Malinowski with the early advantage here in race number 4 for him in this event. Neither of these drivers wants to be the only car eliminated, and the only car in this event not taking part. Not a good apex that for Jaroslav. Possibly put off a little bit by Malinowski's awkward line as well through the third corner. And as we head down the hill, Malinowski needs to keep the car tight, not hitting this armco that everyone's been going through. And that is the first joker on the cards for Malinowski. Goes through and doesn't actually end up being that much of a disadvantage. He's going to emerge just behind Yarda. So these two will be glued together once again as we ride on board with Malinowski, the number 31, as he makes his way up to turn 1 on lap 2. See how these lines contrast. Yarda's gone way too deep. He'll have an okay exit, but he's lost himself a bunch of time there. It was not a good apex at all. Malinowski wiggling this car through the first chicane. Gets a nicer, tighter apex. Plenty of opposite lock to get the car angled for this next section. Yarda's got a good exit though. He's on a good little run here, trying to make up for time. Again, contrasting lines into the next left-hander. Yarda electing for a wider line, which seems to have done him more favours than Malinowski's tighter line. Can he get the next section right? This section is arguably the most difficult for the drivers, or has been so far today, but they've done plenty of races now, and they seem to have sorted it out. Yarda has had a nice end to this lap. He's got a big gap actually over Malinowski. We'll see the update of the gap at the timing line. probably close to 2 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Malinowski then can barely see the back of Yarda's car in any detail, and it's gone up to 2.5 seconds, so a great end to the lap for Yarda. He's had a very nice turn one as well. He's set the fastest lap of the race, and Malinowski has got everything to do then as we enter the second half of the B final for round two. Malinowski is struggling here. He needs to find some extra pace. He had plenty of pace in round one, but today he finds himself at the back of the B final. Harder still to serve his Joker lap. Will he serve it now, or will he leave it till the final lap? He doesn't really want to upset his rhythm. I would probably serve it on the final lap. Oh, goodness me, that was close. And he will indeed leave it till the final chance. He's gone quite wide. It's a slow exit. It's a very slow exit for Yaroslav. That hands the advantage back to Malinowski. But Yarda, he does have quite a good advantage at this stage. We'll see what that gap is again as they head to the line. It was 2.3 at the end of the last lap. It's now 2.5. So he's extended the gap even more, even with that tardy exit. He has gone wide again at turn one. He's not making this easy for himself. He just needs to settle down and put in the final few corners of his race, and he will probably be promoted to the A final. He's going to hit the wall again. Oh, Yarda, it's uncomfortable to watch, but let's see. Can Malinowski get this win after all? Yarda into the tyres slightly. Malinowski with a good exit. Yarda has to take the Joker on this lap. He'll take a slightly wider line into this corner to set himself up. He needs to avoid the Armco just about. Takes an early entry into the Joker, and then we will have a wide shot to finish this race. Malinowski, a much tighter line. They're going to come out side by side, but it is Yarda so far who has done enough. Just this exit, we've seen it come undone for drivers, but no such bother for Yarda. He wins and will be promoted to the A final. Malinowski, only 0.8 of a second separating these two, so a very, very nice fight indeed. But it is Yarda who is promoted to the A final. Here comes then the final classified results that we have from the B final. 4 minutes 11 over the 4 laps, and it is Malinowski who has to unfortunately take a break, and he will not feature in our A final. Oh, Jaroslav Donlik with a 1 minute 29 will be his fastest lap from that race. So he will join the likes of Rafael Costa, Tim Dicknodder, Michael Malek, Jimmy Vertinen, and Daniel Balla in our A final coming up in just a moment's time. The layout is being reloaded as we have more cars than we expected in this A final. And yeah, we will bring you pictures of that in just a moment's time. But what a race, what a round we've had so far. Plenty of drama. Will the little chicane before the Joker lap cause anyone any problems in the final? Oh, I'm sure that it will, because we're going to have 6 cars, more than any other heat race so far. There is going to be a test race, a test start happening in the background, and I'll bring some pictures of that to you just as soon as they are on the track. So the drivers will have a bit of a test start just to make sure that they are happy with the way things are gonna go, and then we'll see all of them driving in anger in a few moments' time. So here comes the real start, the real action, the real A final, contested between Michael Malek, Jimmy Vertinen, Tim Dicknodder, Rafael Costa, Daniel Balla, and Jaroslav Donalik, promoted, of course, from the B final. Here they go. Michael Malik and Jimmy Vernon on the line, but it is Tim Dicknotto who has a very, very bad start. He hasn't started. He's having controller issues we heard about between the heats, and he's spectated. He's out before it's even begun. So we're down to 5 on the line, and it is Michael Malik who leads the way ahead of Jimmy Vernon but no, Daniel Banner has snuck in there and has taken over P2, but has he? Oh, as all the cars condensed down into turn 3, and the line astern, lovely formation through there. It is Michael Malik who leads the field away. And as we head into the second half of the lap, Daniel Balla getting a little bit mugged there by Jimmy Verton, and Jimmy through on the inside. Who's going to elect to do the early joker? Will it be Dan Balla? He's in the middle. It's not a bad idea to get the cars out of your periphery. Oh, goodness me, but he's hit the Armco. That's forced his hand. He has to carry on. So Jimmy Verton goes through the joker. So too does Rafael Costa, but Michael Malik, a dream start. He's out with loads of space, and the car behind him is Daniel Balla, who made that error once again just before the joker. Jimmy Verton slots in back behind Dan. He'll need to clear him as soon as possible if he wants to mount a charge on Michael Malik for the victory in round 2. Yarda, a steady start, taking a very wide again entry into turn 1. He needs to sort that out over the next 3 laps. Michael Malik, a very deep entry into turn 2, and Daniel Balla is able to back up Jimmy Verton. And Jimmy, of course, already with that joker under his belt. Dan needs to open this gap as much as possible if he wants to get on the podium, as Jimmy tries to slip through on the inside and does so, and he'll have the advantage going into the chicane. So Dan has been overtaken by Jimmy. Oh, but there's further contact, and Dan's going to loop it into the gravel, is he? That's going to allow Yarda through, and potentially Costa. Oh, Dan had to break out of it as Costa swung in front. So, and he's hit the apex of the chicane in the joker lap. That's a disaster for Dan Balla. He will be solidly in last place as Michael Malik comes across the line on lap 2 to seal the fastest lap of the race so far. Jimmy Verton then up to P2, the top car who has served the joker lap. Rafael Costa, he needs to close up to Jimmy Verton if he wants to try and win this race. Jaroslav Donnelly could be a surprise. He's completed his joker 2 and is in a direct fight with Costa. Dan goes wide at the back, so he really has everything to do as we are just over the halfway stage. Michael Malik can choose to do his joker now or on the final lap. Will he do it now? Let's find out. A little bit of an awkward line again through the downhill corkscrew, and with that much tail out, surely he's going for the joker. Yes, he swings into the tyres at the entry of the joker, and you can see the amount of gap that he has to Jimmy Verton, and he is easily ahead. Jimmy, he can just see the dust of Michael disappearing through the final chicane. That is a huge gap to make up in the laps that remain here. Rafael Costa, in the meanwhile, is trying to close the gap to Jimmy, and is not doing, again, he's not doing such a fantastic job of that. Jimmy slightly wide of the apex, gets it back down for the exit, but that is the way things stand. We have all cars through the joker lap. Michael Malik leads from this man, Jimmy Verton, with Rafael Costa closing in, and then it is Jaroslav and Daniel Balla at the back. But Michael Malik, what a performance so far, choosing again the wide entry for the long left-hander. He just needs to take his time. He can afford to lose about a second a lap. He can afford to lose a second here, but does not want to spin the car. Final corner, just a chicane to go, and then it is his for the taking, but he's hit the tyres hard. That's going to leave a trail of debris for Jimmy to feed his way through. Rafael through cleanly, but it is Michael Malik who takes the win in round number 2 of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship Season 2, followed by Jimmy Verton and Rafael Costa. We'll have to wait and see who comes out in 4th. It's Yarda, and then we have a bit of a wait, I'm afraid, for Dan Balla. But there is your winner. It is Michael Malik for Master Race Car, who wins in the number 47 Castrol car in a stunning time. His fastest lap was a 58.9, which I believe is the fastest we've seen all events. Tim DC's controller battery, unfortunately, has let go on him. And as we just missed, there we are, Daniel Balla crosses the line to take 5th place overall. My, what an eventful few races we had there. And there are the full classifications for this final. Michael Malik wins in, 4 minutes and 4 seconds. A very, very, very fast heat, faster than the B final by quite a way. 2 seconds behind, it's Jimmy Vertinen, Rafael Costa in P3, Yaroslav Donolik P4, Daniel Balla in P5, and Tim Ducknodder, who did not really start. He was just stationary on the grid with a controller failure in P6. Michael Malik, a stunning fastest lap, a 58.9. I wonder if we'll hear from him after the event. But that is it. That wraps up the action here for round number 2 of MRC's fantastic, you have to say, fantastic Rallycross round 2 event at Aston Cadet. Let's have a quick look at where we are going in this championship. We are headed to the first of 2 Fern Bay rounds, RX1 and RX2, will be taking place on April the 3rd and May the 1st. For round 4, we'll be headed to Blackwood Rallycross for the second time, and then for round 5 and 6, Fern Bay again and West Hill. I do believe we're going to be having an interview from Michael Malik in just a moment's time, which will be awesome to hear from our round 2 winner. I'm not gonna give Michael a choice. Actually, I'm just gonna drag him in. Michael, are you with us?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you absolutely. I didn't really want to wait, to be honest. I just want to have a chat with you. How was that? You were on great pace and you converted everything into a win in the end. Is that a surprise?
Yes and no, but I think the biggest factor today was Tim not being able to start the finals, so I think that made the race quite easier for me. But I was quite lucky to keep the lead after turn 1 and just keeping my pace, not really bothering fighting with other people, so I think that was the key to success today. Last time around I had some collisions with other, and I think I was last in the A final, so this was some kind of redemption, so I'm quite satisfied and looking forward to round 3.
Yeah, if Tim Ducknodder hadn't had that controller failure, I do wonder where you would have ended up alongside him. You had a win in Heat 1, you had a second place in Heat 2, and then a third place in Heat 3. So it kind of went all downhill from there. I don't know. Did you? I don't think you won Heat 3 on my table. So yeah, you turned it all around in the final, so that's great. But yes, I do wonder where you would have been if Tim DC hadn't had that controller failure.
I think it would be much harder to win the race, and to be honest, considering I know Tim's abilities in Rallycross, I think he would have won that race, but that's a lot of ifs, and that doesn't matter in racing and sport in general, so I only hope that he will give me a hard fight in next round.
Well, I hope so too. Sorry about that, I cut you off. But yes, the next round is taking place at Fern Bay. So one of 2 Fern Bay rounds. Are you looking forward to it?
Depends. Do you know which layout is it?
No, not at all.
Neither do I, but I will see depending on what the lap itself will be. But usually I like the Fern Bay layout, so I guess this will be no exception.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us in the commentary box, Michael. Congrats on your round 2 win. That probably brings you level on points with Tim Ducknodder, our round 1 victor. So all square going into round 3.
Absolutely. Looking forward to beat him.
Yeah, we're looking forward to watching it too. Thank you very much, Michael. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Michael Malik there for Master Race Car. And that is all we had time for today's round. Thanks for joining us on Sim Broadcast on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you're watching. We appreciate your support as ever. And if you enjoyed this, please consider signing up for the Master Race Car Rallycross Championship, which will be out at Fern Bay for the next round of the championship in a couple of weeks' time on April the 3rd. We hope to see you then. From all of us here at Sim Broadcast, have a great evening and enjoy the racing on your television this afternoon. See you later and have a good one.